I bet you've already tried a lot of the generic writing advice to solve your writer's block. Create a distraction-free writing environment, go for a walk and get inspired, schedule a time to write so you always write at the same time every day. But solving writer's block isn't as easy as that. During my latest bout of writer's block, I was really frustrated, so I decided to research what actually causes writer's block and why does this generic advice not actually work. There are 4 main causes of writer's block, which were discovered by some Yale University psychologists in the 1970s. They studied writers of poetry, screenwriting, fiction and non-fiction, and found that there were trends in the writer's block experienced by all these writers. We're going to look at all 4 types of writer's block as well as the techniques to overcome it, so you can find out which one you are and how you can get back to writing. My name's Emily and I've been writing professionally since 2008, and for fun, well, ever since I learned how to write. First type of writer's block is the one that I can relate to the most, which is the anxious or discomfort writer's block. You're worrying about what other people might think of your writing, doubting your own abilities and generally feeling like your work isn't good enough. You might find yourself avoiding writing completely because you just think it will be awful. Or you feel like you need to wait for the perfect moment when you're inspired and your writing is just flowing to be able to write anything at all. So you just procrastinate until that happens. If you struggle with writer's block caused by anxiety, the same type of techniques that you use to reduce your anxiety in everyday life can help. Try doing the things that help you to relax. Maybe that's meditating or having a long bath. One thing that works for me is trying to reduce the amount of pressure that I've put on myself with regards to my writing. So instead of seeing my writing as something that I have to share with other people, it helps if I shift that focus to making it an activity I'm just doing for me. And if I want to share it with somebody else, then I can do, but I don't have to. So if it is really bad and I don't want to share it with anybody, I can just throw it away and it doesn't matter. Another way to reduce the pressure is to not set yourself word count targets with your writing. Instead of thinking you need to write 200 words or a catchy chorus, just write without any expectation of an outcome. The challenge of writing when you've got writer's block is hard enough without setting yourself additional expectations on top of it. And sometimes just because you're writing something, you actually have good ideas that will lead you on to something else. But what if your problem isn't getting started and you're not worried about what other people think? Instead, you're bursting with ideas and you're always scribbling stuff down. But your writer's block comes when you try to re-engage with these ideas and flesh them out into something a bit more cohesive. In this case, you're suffering from the second type of writer's block. This is called cognitive or processing writer's block. You might struggle to develop ideas, maintain a good flow through your work, or have lots of incomplete projects. The main challenge with this type of writer's block is to keep it focused on a central theme and following a logical order. To overcome cognitive writer's block, it really can help to create an outline before you start. And it might feel a bit like school where your teacher is telling you to write an outline for your story before you start your work, but it actually can help. And the structure that you create with the outline automatically breaks your writing down into smaller tasks. An outline is great if you're starting a new piece of work, but what if you've already got lots of scattered pieces of work and you're overwhelmed by everything? Well, in this case, you can still create an outline. You just need to step back from your work first. You need to take off your writer's hat and put on your organizer hat. Look at all the fragments of work that you've got, and instead of engaging with them and trying to write more, just categorize them into parts. You might have categories by project or character or type of work, like song or poem or short story. Your categories need to be useful for you. When you've sorted out all your fragments of work, you might be surprised by how much stuff you've got there. Now that you've stepped back from your work, you can create an outline for one of your projects. Then you can match up the sections in the outline with the sections of writing you've already done. You can use your outline at any point during your writing if you feel like you're going off on a tangent. It's really helpful to use when you're editing to make sure that everything's tight and fits around that theme. And you can even use it to see if you've overdeveloped a particular section. But what if you're more likely to throw your writing away than you are to keep it and return to it at a later date? If you find yourself abandoning projects completely or feeling angry and stressed towards your writing, then you might have writer's block caused by that anger and stress. You may even be overly critical of your own work, feeling that it doesn't meet your own high standards. This third type of writer's block can be caused by external pressures, such as unrealistic deadlines or being forced to write on a topic that you don't agree with or you don't enjoy. I used to get angry writer's block with professional writing when I had to implement client feedback that I disagreed with. I used to crank up the music in my headphones and type really angrily on my keyboard, and people in the office would come over to me and tell me that my typing was too loud. A better way to deal with the angry writer's block would have been to have a blank page and just complain on the page, just write about everything I was angry and frustrated about and get that anger out. If you read it back, you might find there's patterns in your thinking that help you understand where this anger and frustration is coming from, so you can move on from it and get back to writing again. If your anger and frustration is caused by your own inner critic, as you're writing, try annotating your work so that you can look back at your comments and see what it is that's triggering this feeling of anger and frustration. Why are you being so harsh on yourself? And you might find that these comments say things like, X person wouldn't like this, or this isn't good enough, or you've stolen this idea from somebody else. By bringing out that inner critic consciously, the next time you hear yourself saying these things, you know how to silence it. But what if you're not feeling angry or scattered or anxious about your writing? What if you're not feeling anything at all? It's just meh. In this case, you've probably got apathetic writer's block. You might feel bored by what you're writing about and disconnected from your writing goals. So you're just not motivated to write at all. And even when you do try to write, you get easily distracted and all your writing just feels flat. Or even worse, because you don't feel motivated to write, then you don't write. And the more time that passes between the last time you wrote and now, the more detached and the less motivated you feel, and the harder it is to re-engage. So what can you do? You need to find a way to motivate yourself again. You've got to think about the bigger motivation beyond the writing itself. For example, you might write because it supports your mental health, or you want to write stories for your children. Or maybe you're working on a project with a friend. If you're not motivated to write but you have to, maybe because of professional obligation, then you can't change what you're writing about, but maybe you can change other things that will re-inspire you. You could try writing in a new environment. Maybe you go to the library or a coffee shop. You could make a deal with yourself that you only have to write for a certain amount of time. I have a timer that I use when I need to get something done and I really don't feel motivated to do it. It's an analog timer, so I can't be distracted by any notifications on my phone. And it gives a really nice visual indication of how much time you've got left. So at a glance, I can see that there's 20 minutes. When the timer's up, it beeps. And interestingly, when the timer beeps, I'm usually well on with the task that I didn't want to do, and I just carry on doing it anyway. Some people find that having accountability partners is helpful. So you could find a writing partner when you both commit to each week write a certain amount of words, and then you meet up online, or there might be a local writing group near you and you could meet somebody there. Just make sure you find an accountability partner that actually holds you to account. I've had accountability partners in the past that have just let me off when I haven't done anything. They thought they were being kind probably, but actually it wasn't really that helpful for me in the long run. Regardless of the type of writer's block that you've got, there is one additional technique that can help. But before I share that, please like this video if you found it helpful. Journaling can help you figure out why you're finding your writing so hard. All you need to do is ask yourself, why am I finding this writing difficult? And then follow it up with another why, and then another why question. Every time you ask yourself why, you dig deeper and deeper into these thoughts and feelings about your work, and it will help you uncover the main reason why you're struggling with your writer's block. Sometimes writer's block is actually caused by a lack of inspiration. If that might be the case for you, check out my video here on songwriting inspiration, because the ideas in there can be used across any type of creative writing.